Howdy! I am Whitney.
And I am Taylor. And we are the Ghost Sisters. Plus Sophie, maybe.
Oh my god.
She's having a time.
I'm having a time because she's having
Every-
a time.
Everybody over there's having a time.
It is a time.
It is.
All right, what you got? What you got?
I came across this actually in
I was like,
a.
did she break? Like
I
what?
broke.
Ugh.
I actually came across this by happenstance and was like, oh shit, I want to do this. I had plans for a completely different location and then was like, nope, I'm going to do this instead.
Wow.
We are going to talk about a Texas location
Ho ho.
that is actually pretty dang close to, I say pretty dang close to the Houston area. It's pretty close to Pasadena. So down where you
That's
used to be.
that's pretty close to the Houston
Yeah.
area. Also, I do enjoy that it was not planned and I said howdy.
Yeah. And then it ended up being Texas.
Howdy doody.
Howdy doody. I'm surprised you didn't manage that in your Wisconsinian accent.
I'm not Wisconsinian, so I don't
Howdy.
have an
Howdy doody.
accent.
You do sometimes.
Your mom.
Your mom's face.
Your mom's ass.
your, your mom's asshole. Okay.
No, that's what I normally say. Whatever. All
I
right, go
know.
on. Whatever.
We're doing Bragg Road right outside
Okay.
of Saratoga, Texas.
Okay. I feel like I've heard about Bragg Road.
Yes. It's one of those, like, I've heard of it, but I didn't actually know what was going on with it. It is a reportedly haunted road that has been preserved through the Hardin County Commissioner's Court. And it's got a bunch of different mysterious stories that could explain the hauntings, but there's actually some really interesting scientific explanations as well.
Sure.
It is on the
I'm sorry, everyone. I think Sophie is going to be in attendance because apparently I just suck and we are unhappy with everything. So she
Sophie.
may grump or think she just burped. So like I'm sorry. Just
That's okay.
she's doing the thing.
I have gypsum, like, hi. So we might just have an animal friendly episode today.
Apparently, yeah, Gypsum just crossed in front of her computer screen and is
Mhm.
just hanging out. And
She's
Sophie has
just super in the
decided
way.
it's time to lick herself. Knock it off.
Yeah. So this is part of what's known as the Big Thicket in Texas.
Yeah.
And yeah, so you're like, yep, I've heard of this place.
Her thicket into
Uh
the thick of it. Into the thick of it.
oh my gosh. So
Ugh.
this is north of the Lance Rosier unit of the Big Thicket National Preserve, which is between Saratoga and Bragg, Texas, and it's
Okay.
close to Kuntz, Texas as well.
Okay.
This is going to be a short one,
Okay.
just letting you know.
Mhm.
I've only got 5 pages, so you are,
Oh,
it's not going to be I know, it's not going to be an hour and a half. I made sure to kind of calm myself down here.
it's still probably longer than Whitney ones, but that's okay.
We'll see. The borders of Bragg, or I'm sorry, the Big Thicket have changed over the years. Originally, it was south of Old San Antonio Road, east of the Brazos River, north of La Bahia Road, Bahia? Moo. And west of the Sabine River. But now some scientists are starting to define it based on soil type and vegetation, which puts it from Grimes to Newton counties. And then other places have actually broken it into the Big Thicket National Preserve, which is 12 different units over Polk, Tyler, and surrounding counties. So the people who actually live in Big Thicket have broken it into a much smaller area known
Mm.
as the Bear Hunters Thicket. This
I
is
thought you were gonna say
for
bear huggers thicket. No, I was like, "Oh, how sweet."
how sweet. Nope, bear hunters.
Okay.
This is Texas.
No longer sweet.
This is a 40-mile long, 20-mile wide, the very thickly wooded area that has a gray clay and sand kind of depositional area, and it is
Okay.
part of the Pine Island Bayou drainage system.
Okay.
The south end
Wait,
is
wait, wait,
near.
wait, wait, wait. Drainage system, like au natural or like man-made pipe sewer drainage system? What
I'm
are
going
we
to say
talking
au
about?
natural. It's kind of like the Buffalo Bayou,
Okay.
that kind of thing. Yeah, it's like partially man-made, partially not.
Okay.
The south end of the Bear Hunters Thicket is Sour Lake. The eastern boundary is Cypress Creek. Western boundary is Trinity River and the Prairie. So
I know some of those things.
I was
Not
going to say,
not a lot of them.
yeah, so Cypress Creek and Trinity River are familiar to me just because
Hey, those are
where
the
we
2
live.
that are familiar to me too, but
Hey!
for different reasons.
There's a lot of wildlife in here, and a lot of this stems from we're going in the way, way back machine, 60 million years ago,
Have
in
you
the height.
ever used the Wayback Machine, like, on the interwebs?
No.
It's kinda cool, and this is also,
Is it?
like, you should know never to put, like, stupid shit on the internet, Taylor, because there I don't know if it's still out there. I'm sure there's, like, a new Wayback Machine, but it was called the Wayback Machine, and you could go and you could, like, "Okay, I'm gonna go on to Taylor's Facebook page," and it'll pull it up, and if you're like, "I deleted blah, 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 blah," blah," it'll be like, "Haha, just kidding. 3 years ago, when you posted it before you deleted it, I done did found it in the Wayback Machine."
Luckily, I didn't put any stupid shit on. If
Um,
I did put stupid shit, it was stupid shit I wanted people to see, not necessarily like me doing stupid shit,
I
though.
mean, it's not just Facebook, it's, like, everything. I I was gonna say I had sketchy first jobs and learned fun things from my first jobs, and going to the Wayback Machine was definitely a part of that. So, like,
Hmm.
fun tidbit, y'all. Wayback Machine.
Interesting.
It will fuck you up.
Yes.
Anyways,
Okay.
continue. Okay, so the metaphorical Wayback Machine, not the website. Continue.
Yes. We are 60 million years ago in the Pleistocene, where during this time period, Texas is actually a very shallow sea. The actual shoreline is right around the DFW area. So this entire area is pretty dang, we have a period of glaciation occurring and then deglaciation occurring. So we're kind of moving back and forth between dry land and wetlands. This leads to the existence of a lot of prehistoric mammals. So we have mastodons, elephants, the American horse, something called Taylor's bison.
All
I
right,
was like,
Taylor, stop making shit up. Don't think
I'm
that you can
not.
become famous and you're like, "Ha, it's Taylor's Bison.
No, that's legit. Look
I'm
it
gonna send
up.
him off to college. Bye, son."
Bye. I get what you're saying. Bison.
Okay,
Yeah,
anyways, right,
I
move
got you.
on. Continue.
There were also camels, tapirs. Yeah, I was like camels,
Wait,
but yeah,
I do think I need to go back. The American horse?
yeah. As opposed to the European.
European?
Yeah, I don't know. I that was what it's called, the American horse.
African or European? I
I
don't know that.
don't know that.
Ah.
Ah.
Anyways,
So we had tapirs, giant sloths, beavers, and armadillos. And whenever we say giant sloths, I mean like sloths the size of like rhinoceros.
sloth.
Sloth.
I don't know why making it deeper makes it the size of a rhinoceros, but, like, I just imagine it like, "Sloth."
Was it like a Pokemon?
Yeah. Nope. Never mind.
Nope, not gonna go down that rabbit hole.
Well, I was like, I was like, maybe they got that thought because, like, the horse so, like, the American horse runs around and instead of, like, gallop or whatever, it's like American, 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 instead of gallop, 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 gallop. Anyways,
Maybe. I
um,
don't know.
fuck Pokemon.
No, I like Pokemon. You can't say that. Not allowed. Not allowed.
Okay.
So, okay, these were hunted by saber-toothed tigers and dire wolves. So we had a lot going on. Um, 8,000 years ago, we see the official transition from glaciation to deglaciation with the beginning of the Holocene warming period. And that's where we currently are right now. A lot of these animals will die off, at least
Mhm.
from the North American continent.
I mean, I have not seen any camel in Texas.
Yeah.
Well, oh, no, that's a lie. The place where I used to live, apparently one of the neighbors actually had a camel.
Are you kidding me? Oh my
I
gosh. It's
Texas is
amazing.
wild, y'all.
Texas is wild, yeah.
I
Y'all.
got stuck. I got stuck in traffic one time because there was a peacock crossing the road. I'm just saying, like,
I love Texas.
shit's fucking wild over here.
Yes. Yes. So, the retreat of the glaciers, even though we lost quite a few of those animals, we still have an incredibly diverse ecosystem. And it has 8 different kinds of plant communities. And they claim that this could be, scientists claim, this could be the most biologically diverse place in the world. And I was like, I don't know about that. But then get into the plants that are available. We have cacti, fern, beech trees, orchids, camellias, azaleas, or azaleas, as Whitney says it.
Fuck you.
4 types of carnivorous plants: pine, oak, and gum trees. And that's just like a smattering of the different things that are there. And if you think about it, like
In
cacti are going
this
to be
in this thicket, not
in
just
the
in
thicket.
Texas, in the thicket.
No,
Okay.
in the thicket. Cacti, very dry environment, but orchids need incredibly moist and warm environments.
Texas.
Yeah, the 4 types of carnivorous plants, those are gonna be like the pitcher plant, the
Venus
Venus
flytrap.
flytrap.
Just doing a hand sign at me like, Pac-Man, meow, 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 meow.
That's how I do everything now. I just make hand signals and hope that somebody knows what I'm trying to tell them.
I'm glad I can actually see you. This would be really
Yeah,
difficult if we couldn't
it would
see each
be.
other. Yeah.
Yeah. So, we also have 350 species of bird and then a wide variety of both reptile and mammalian life. So, crazy, crazy conditions for oil production, which becomes a thing later.
Oh, we're not to today's standards.
Well, so that's part of today's like you can go out there and see all these things today, but
Okay.
ever since 8,000 years ago, that's when these things popped up.
Got it.
In addition to all of the crazy plant life, we also had several American Indian groups that were and tribes that were there. The first that they mentioned were the Otakabas. I looked up how to say it and it said Otakabas. So if you know how to say it differently, tell me. This was a cannibalistic
Oh,
Indian
no.
tribe
Oh,
that
my.
hung out on the Gulf Coast and the Trinity River regions of the Big Thicket.
Are they still around?
No, as far as
Okay.
I know, no. If not, I mean, the thicket is really, really scary, apparently, so who knows?
Maybe they are.
Yeah. The Caddos hung out in the northern part and they used the thicket as a hunting ground. The Alabamas and the Kushatas came to the north and the west over
You mean
time.
Kashada?
When I looked it up, it said Kushata.
I was just saying there is a casino called Kashada,
Oh. Hmm.
and it's close, well, not really closer to that area, but, like, more Louisiana-ish.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, there's no gambling in Texas, so it would can't be in Texas, but if you're going towards the Louisiana border, you're gonna see more and towards Oklahoma. Really anywhere not Texas border, it's gonna have something for some kind of gambling, and a lot of them
Yeah.
are called Kashada.
Interesting. Yeah, this one's spelled Cousha oh, Coushattas.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay, well, the how to pronounce this.com told me Kushada, so I don't know.
Yeah.
We had the Tonkawas, the Lipans, and the Wichita tribes meet at Sour Lake at one point. They considered it a medicinal spring, and they sought peace between their tribes whenever they went there.
Hmm.
When you're talking about hauntings, Native American stuff is a thing. Like, it's just it surrounded in mystery, surrounded in lots of spiritualism and all that kind of stuff. So you're
But
already
isn't it
looking at that.
really only a thing if they have deemed the area to be sacred? I
Yes.
mean, technically anything could be haunted, as we learned with
Yeah.
cars,
Uh
but,
huh.
like, I thought as far as someone being like, "Well, it is an ancient Indian burial ground."
No. Yeah.
Oh,
No, this is not
no?
an ancient
Okay.
Indian burial ground. This is more just
Things
American
happen
Indians
there.
lived and died here.
Got
Yes.
it, okay.
And cannibalism is that's just going to heighten any kind of everything. So, yeah.
Yeah.
We see the first non Native American take over the Big Thicket area in 1829. His name was Manuel Lorenzo Justiano de Zavala y Sainz, because of
Cool.
course it was. People just called him Lorenzo de Zavala because, yeah. He was the very first vice president of the Republic of Texas, and he was granted the land with the Mexican land grant.
Wow.
So, what's
Go
interesting is
go Enzo.
yeah. What's interesting is that no Mexican people actually settled there. The first people that settled were Anglo. Yeah, and
Well, I mean, it I could see that not being an area that you would want.
yeah,
Like,
if you're
because
talking
if you think
about
about, like, where Mexico is and, like, the area that we're talking about in Texas, it's it's kind of far out, like, you're
yeah,
getting more towards, like, that's again, back
you're
to
a little
Louisiana, that's where
yeah,
the
you're a little
French and
close to
everyone are going, so, like,
yeah,
you're probably not gonna explore that far.
right, you're a little close to the Louisiana Purchase at that point, yeah.
Right.
Whenever we start to see Anglo Americans settle into this area, they start to recognize that there's a lot of timber. That's why it's called the thicket. And they were
Yelling timber.
oh no. They were primarily sustaining their economy through hog and cattle, development, whatever you call that, raising hogs and cattle. There we go.
Trade?
So, yeah, sure.
Well, okay,
No, I
continue.
get what you're saying.
Okay.
Yes, yeah. So the Fe Railway Historical and Modeling Society says that lumber really becomes I know that's a name.
Yeah.
Lumber really became a thing in 1880, which helped
Mhm,
to sustain the farming and ranching industry. And in addition to all of the lumber stuff, we start to see oil fields be discovered. And this is due to all the glaciation that happened beforehand. So the Sour Lake oil field was discovered in 1901. And then there were a bunch of other oil fields discovered
mhm,
right around that, slightly after that. This meant that all of a sudden we had a need for rapid transportation of materials, both lumber and pipe materials and all that kind of stuff. And that facilitated the creation of the Bragg railway system. And this was a railroad that went between Bragg, Texas, all the way down to Saratoga. And it just acted as a right of way kind of road to
mhm,
get stuff where it needed to be.
mhm,
This was created by the Gulf, Colorado and Santa Fe Railway in 1902, and it's about 16 miles west of Kuntz, Texas. It's about 9 miles long. And if you were to look it up today, it actually pops up as both Bragg Road on Google Maps and Ghost Road Scenic Drive. So it's actually
Oh.
called Ghost Road, which
Oh,
is cool.
oh.
Yas.
Some shit must have happened.
Yas. So we're going to get into that shit. So this carried people, cattle, oil, and logs for about 30 years. And then in about 1934, we start getting into the Depression. And it becomes really expensive to do anything during the
Mhm,
Depression. And they basically couldn't justify using the railroad for things that people weren't buying anymore.
Mhm.
So they moved to abandon it. And there was a hearing done by the Interstate Commerce Commission where the superintendent, Mr. Crowley of the, what is it called? The Gulf, Colorado's, and Santa Fe Railway Gulf Division came forward and said that while they did get good business out of Saratoga for several years due to the construction of pipelines and the handling of oil and the diminution of lumber traffic and all that kind of stuff, and then the depression, there's just no use for the railroad anymore.
Mm.
But local businessmen were like, we could still use it, that's still a mode of transportation, that's still a way for us to get
Right.
goods between Saratoga and
And it still
Bragg.
could provide jobs and all of that kind
Yeah,
of stuff, help the
yeah,
economy a smidge, but
a little
Great
bit.
Depression was
Depression.
depression was a whole different thing and,
Yes,
you know,
yes.
yeah.
Despite this, the ICC ultimately approved the abandonment of the road in 1933.
I think it's crazy
So,
that they have to agree to abandon
yeah.
a road or a railway. It's not just that, "Oh, huh, that's weird. No one's using it anymore." It's just straight up, "Nope, we're gonna
Well, I
we"
could,
That was me doing a
yeah.
gavel.
Oh, okay. I could see if you're expected to maintain the road and you don't want to, you don't want to do that anymore, then you can go in for abandonment. So then that way you don't get fined or cited for not keeping up your
Fair.
end of the bargain. But
It's
yeah, I
still
still think it's
not
very odd.
Yeah, it's not something that I would have thought of. I would think that
Yeah.
you would just stop, like, it just
I
wouldn't it
declare bankruptcy.
I declare bankruptcy. Yeah, okay, Michael. Yeah, I wouldn't have thought that you would, like, go to
Yeah, have a hearing about it and all that stuff.
yeah, go to
Yeah.
city council.
Yes.
I say
So
that like that's a
ultimately,
weird concept, city council, but
city council, yeah.
it's legit a thing.
It is. Mhm.
I'm
So
so
they
tired.
pulled I'm sorry. They pulled the rails up and that left just a dirt road afterwards.
Mhm.
And the citizens around there were like, "Well, shit, we still going to use this road." And so they started using the road, and the phenomenon known as the Saratoga Light began to take off. Up to this point, people have been seeing what's known as the Saratoga Lights or the Bragg Lights. But it wasn't until all of the citizens of Saratoga and Bragg started using this road that reports became more and more frequent.
What are we talking about here? Are we talking about Ghost Train? Are we talking about, like, Aurora Borealis? Like, what Mothman? What are we talking about?
We're getting there.
I get there faster.
So, according to dangerousroads.org, the legend of the Saratoga Light began ever since the rail line was put in. And there are reports of a ghostly light that is supposedly one of the legends is that it is the lantern of a railroad employee that met an unfortunate end.
Okay.
But it turns out that there are a whole bunch of legends that could explain this ghost light. So, this is a
Mm,
light that appears on the road in front of you, and it is about an orb that's about the size of a small pumpkin,
okay.
and it can range in color from light blue to green to yellow. And there have been so many people that have seen this light, and one person from Rediscovering Southeast Texas, their blog, said that they went out to Saratoga and Bragg Road in the late 80s about 3 or 4 times, weren't able to really see anything until the 3rd time they were out there. They said that it looked like an oncoming train if you were standing on the track, but no matter how much they went towards it, they never got any closer
Mm.
to it. Folklore and local stories about the light. The very first one that always come to mind is it's Satan because we are
Duh.
in East Texas. So,
Sure.
yeah. UFOs. That is also one of the explanations for the Marfa lights, which we might talk about later.
Mhm.
One of the stories is that there is a Mexican cemetery there. And the legend behind this is a crew of Mexican men were hired to cut the road and lay the tracks for the rail line. The foreman of the road gang, instead of deciding to pay the workers like he had promised, he decides he's just going to kill them once the work was completed, and he kept the money. So he buried them in unmarked graves in the woods, and the lights are supposedly the restless, uneasy souls that haunt the piece of ground that took their lives.
Hmm. Okay.
There is no historical documentation to that.
Alrighty.
Another possible explanation, a jayhawker, which I had to look up what a jayhawker is. It is a unionist who robbed, burned out, and murdered only rebels in arms against the government during the Civil War.
Wow.
So they were
Wow.
unionists that were fighting against the Confederacy and literally just murdering and burning people, that kind of whole thing. So they believe that this could be either a jayhawker that was shot in the thicket by Confederate soldiers, or it is a jayhawker that was basically caught by a fire that they said. It's known as the Kaiser burnout, where the Confederate soldiers set the thicket on fire to smoke out the jayhawkers that were hiding there.
Hmm.
And they think that one of them either couldn't escape, or whenever he did get shoved out of the thicket by the fire, they shot him on sight.
Wow.
Yeah. There's also reports of treasure hidden in the thicket by Spanish soldiers.
Cortez. Wow.
I immediately thought of Road El Dorado.
Yeah.
So, Spanish conquistadors were thought to have cached a golden hoard in the middle of the thicket, but they never came back for it. So
Golden
they think
horde, not
hoard,
whore.
not a whore. No, a
Now, if there's
hoard.
some like ghostly golden whore that is a light out there, like, goddamn, ooh, we should make a new legend.
We should. It's the golden
The
hoard.
golden whore of Bragg's Road.
I'm pretty sure the people of Braggs and Saratoga would be like, go the fuck home.
But then we could do the same thing like Mothman, and we could have, like, a whole, like, event and everything, and then people, like, can come and they can dress up and whatnot and, like, paint themselves in gold and be like, "I am the golden whore," and, like,
Yeah,
we could have a party.
let's do it.
I wanna do this. Let's just show up in Saratoga and just, like, be painted in gold and be like, "Your golden whore is here," and they'll be like, "What the fuck?" And then the
Yeah,
cops will
100%.
arrest us, and they'll be like, "Please go home."
If I'm gonna get arrested for anything, I'd hope it would be that.
That would be like, can you imagine sitting there and holding and they're like, "What are you in it for, man?" And you're like, "I'm a golden whore," and they're like, "What?" Except
I'm
I
the
don't
golden whore.
I'm the golden whore, except I feel like they would then be like, "Prove it." And you're like, "Oh, no.
Oh no, oh no.
Oh,
I would
no.
just
Oh."
be gold and be like, ooh.
You're like, "Oh, no, no, wait, I'm a ghost," and they're like, "Oh, okay."
Oh,
Oh,
gotcha.
golden whore ghost.
Oh, jeez.
Alright.
So supposedly the light is leading people to the treasure to find.
Okay.
Another theory is a hunter that was lost in the woods for many years. Basically, he got lost and perished in the big thicket, and supposedly the light is a lantern that he's using to try to find his way back out.
How big is the big thicket? I mean, it's obviously big.
It is
Honeycomb big.
massive.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's not small. No,
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 no.
no. No, I'm just wondering, like, is it like, how deep is it? How wide is it? Did you already
It's
cover that?
massive.
Okay.
Yeah, so it goes all the way up to the northern reach of it is Saratoga, and then it goes all the way down to Beaumont.
Okay, yeah, so
Yeah.
that's a few cities.
Yes.
Yes,
It is
okay. I was
pretty
like, "How
large.
did this dude get lost in there?" I think I was thinking of, like, the neighborhood forest, where it's like,
Yeah.
you
Or it's
take a couple
y
steps to the left and you're back outside and you're like, "Oh, shit." So I was like,
right.
"What happened to you?" Okay,
He
now that
ended up
I've
in a time slip.
and for the time slip.
Okay, so another one is the railroad man who
Mhm.
was decapitated in a train wreck, and supposedly He is roaming up and down, or they found his body but never found his head. He's roaming up and down the road looking for his head.
So he's
And then,
modern day headless horseman.
yes, yes. And then there is the man who sold his farm to work on the railroad and literally kept only what he absolutely needed to survive. He went and became a brakeman. He was very successful, but whenever the Gulf Coast, Colorado, Santa Fe rail line, whatever, began to stop the number of runs that the train had, he basically was out of a job and he became destitute and perished. And
Mm,
the light is actually his brakeman's lantern shining the way down the road.
mm.
So, just like with any legend, there has to be some skeptics out there
Shall?
that say, this is what it actually is.
Yep.
And by far, the most popular natural explanation for it is headlights and taillights of people on the adjacent highway because there is a highway right next to it. And there were some scientific investigations done regarding this, and I'll talk about it in a second.
I don't feel like I feel because you said it's like the light is coming toward you. And to me,
Mhm.
that means it is directly in front of you. So
And
it
they
being
have,
adjacent, like that's going to be either to your left or to your right. It's not going to be in front of you.
yep, we're just going to have to go and see. So,
Yeah, it's not to pinpoint. It's just a few hours away.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's not terrible. The other explanations are swamp gas. How? I don't know. I couldn't find an explanation for how swamp gas would do that, but sure.
Was
It's
it
very
was
Men in
it
Black.
was it Shrek?
No. Oh, was it Shrek as in like swamp?
Yeah.
Get out of my swamp.
Get out of my swamp.
They think it could be a reflection of foxfire or swamp fire.
What's
Um
Foxfire?
that's a good fucking question. That was one of the things I was going to look up and then
Oh,
forgot to.
okay. I
What
was
is
like, "You're a scientist, figure it out."
Let's see. Fairy fire and chimpanzee fire, bioluminescence created by a species of fungi present in decaying wood.
Wait, 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 wait.
Mhm.
You said foxfire, not fairy fire
Yes.
or chimpanzee fire. What the
So
fuck?
it's called all three. It can be called foxfire, fairy fire, or chimpanzee fire.
Okay. That
I
just
don't know who
took a
named
turn
it.
and just I was not expecting that at all.
Whew. Okay. They also think that it could be campfires seen from far away within the trees. They think it could be piezoelectricity. This is a phenomenon that is created when materials are undergo some kind of stress. They can actually generate an electrical charge. So crystals, ceramics, bones, that kind of stuff can actually do this. So they think that maybe that's a possibility.
How many
Um,
would you have to have for that to do that?
I don't like to
Like,
create a pumpkin-sized ball. Like I feel like that's a
yeah,
pretty,
like, I feel like
yeah,
it's not just, like, a crystal, it's, like, those ginormous ones that you're like, "Who's buying this and putting in their house?"
yeah,
Like, it's gotta
exactly.
be that kinda thing.
The answer is Taylor. Taylor's buying it and putting it in her house.
Yeah, we're gonna bypass that.
Mirages, St. Elmo's fire, which is a atmospheric phenomenon where you get lightning strikes that will actually come onto the top of like a metal pole.
Okay.
Ball lightning. Ball lightning is a very rare phenomenon, so
Ooh,
the chance
I saw a video about ball
of
lightning, and
it is fucking crazy.
I thought it was like a Photoshop thing, so I didn't send it to you because I was like, "No, someone's just fucking with it." But no, no, it's pretty cool because it, like, starts
Yeah.
in one and it's like it's bouncing around the clouds, like, it's cool.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Ball
not
lightning
like
is
it wasn't, like, pumpkin size, though. It like,
no, ball lightning
giant
tends to
mass in the
be.
sky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So actually ball lightning can be this big up to a ball, like I say this big. It's like the size of what is this, like a honeydew or a cantaloupe? Or it can be a massive thing. And it's such a rare phenomenon that we actually don't have a lot of pictures of it or let alone videos of it. So whenever that video came out, there are two videos that I've seen. There's the one in the sky, and then
Yeah.
there's one of a smaller one closer down to the ground.
Mhm.
That's really fascinating. So if I can find it, I'll show it to you.
Hmm.
They also think it could be the moon reflecting in water pools. Like people wouldn't be like, "That's the moon."
Now, back to videos, I have seen there's one I don't know where it is, but it's like a one where there's a tunnel and you're going on the tunnel on the road, and I guess it had just rained or something, and this person's sitting
Mhm.
there with their hazard, and then another car passes them and drives in front of them, and they're like, "Oh, dude. Oh, dude. Oh, dude." And it turns out it's just there's water on the road reflecting the
Yes.
tunnel. It's not a hole.
Yes.
So
I've seen that video.
I could see that maybe, depending
Okay.
on how bright the moon is and how open the sky is.
So, the interesting thing about this is that the big thicket, the Bragg Road specifically, it's like a tunnel of vegetation over it.
Oh, yeah, then fuck that, that's not a thing.
Yeah, yeah.
No.
So, the next one is glow from bat guano phosphates, and I had to look this up because I was like, "What?"
Glow and
I
bat poop?
Yeah, I was like,
What?
"What?" So, apparently, phosphorus, whenever it is in high concentrations, can actually emit a faint greenish glow that is visible in the dark.
That's kinda badass.
That is badass. I was like, "100%, let's go." So,
I don't wanna smell it, though.
no, bat guano smells awful.
Yeah.
Ugh, yeah. Mineral deposits can also do this. It's called phosphorescence. So that's
Mhm.
another explanation. And then by far my favorite explanation that scientists have come up with, hysterical imagination. Literally, y'all seeing shit.
Okay.
I was like, yeah,
Okay.
that's pretty scientific. So some investigations that have actually come forward with this. First one was rediscovering Southeast Texas, the one that went out there and said that it's like a train coming at you, but the closer you get, you can never quite reach it. What they did is they went out there and they actually cleared all tire tracks off of the road in all of the turnarounds. So then that way it
Okay.
would be obvious if a car comes through. And then that way they could see if a car like came in and then turned around before it actually reached them.
Hmm.
They only saw one vehicle pass them, and they saw the light many, many times throughout this. But when they went and checked the road, there was only one set of tire tracks, meaning that only that one car had come down.
And when they say they've seen the light, is it like, "Whoop, there's a light. Whoop, there's a light," or, like, they see it like it's about to pass and then nothing, and then they see it like it's about to pass and then nothing?
The light will appear, remain stationary, and then flicker out of existence.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So Herbert Lindley did a paper in summer of 1992 where he details an investigation that they did with how the adjacent highway 787, how those lights appear whenever they come to and away from
Okay.
the things.
So, like what I was saying, that's what he
Yes.
was looking at. Okay.
Yes. So he says that if you go down the road and you look back towards highway 787,
Okay.
the headlights from the cars are very obviously headlights. They start off as a single dot when they're far away, but as they get closer, it breaks into two separate orbs.
Mhm.
However, there's an area of Highway 787 coming close to Bragg Road that has a slight hill on it. And whenever you're standing on Bragg Road facing towards these lights, the lights appear to get directed up into the sky above the trees. And then whenever that car comes over the hill, you see the headlights pop into the tunnel with a bright flare as one single orb, and then they dissipate after the car passes. So
Hmm.
they think that that is what you're seeing. And that's when they were there, people that were reporting, oh, I'm seeing the light. They were seeing it was in time with these cars passing by.
Okay.
Possible explanations for that. Um, Tourism in Saratoga and Bragg and Kuntz, it's all spiked since the Bragg Road and Ghost Road have become a thing and especially
Mhm.
more mainstream. In the event that you ever want to go to these areas, if you want to go from Saratoga, say you're in Saratoga and you just want to go check out Bragg Road, you just have to go north on 787 and exit off onto Bragg Road. If you're coming in from Thicket, you just travel east on 1293, turn right onto Bragg Road, and then from Kuntz, you just travel west on 1293 past Honey Island, Texas. I learned a bunch of new city names in Texas.
Honey
Yeah.
Island.
Honey
Okay.
Island. And then you turn left onto Bragg Road. And
Hmm.
there are lots of really cute little places to stay in Saratoga and Coons. One is the Etheridge Farm Bed and Breakfast, Indian Springs Campground, the Book Nook Inn. I
Okay.
was like, well, that sounds delightful. Um,
Alrighty.
there are lots of bed and breakfast, RV parks, and that kind of thing if you ever want to go out there and check it out. And I think that Whitney and I will go out there at some point and
Hmm.
do like a little day trip of it.
Now, none of
And
these places are like, come see the lights. They're just like
no,
cute little places to be.
yes, yeah, it's
Okay.
not a tourist trap kind of thing. As a matter of fact, when I looked up the whole Bragg Lights of Texas and that kind of thing, it was all like, it wasn't from Saratoga. It wasn't from Kuntz. It was like people being like, "Ooh, this was listed on a list and I saw it." It's not like the cities themselves are advertising this
Hmm.
particular event. I find that interesting. Like Marfa, they go heavy into the Marfa
Well,
lights,
so
but
the
Bragg
Marfa
Road they don't.
lights are in Marfa. Like that is
Yes.
Marfa is just a weird little town.
Mhm.
So they're gonna latch onto that, of course. But from what it sounds like, it's not while the road may be one named Bragg's and two in Sarasota, it doesn't
Saratoga.
Saratoga, not Sarasota. It doesn't quite seem like it is that
Part of a
town's, like,
city. Yeah.
it is a pass-through road, so I could see them not taking credit, I guess, for it,
Yeah.
because it's not theirs to take credit for, it's just
Right.
there, it just belongs.
Mhm.
Now, could we open up a B and b on there and call it the Light on the Road?
Maybe.
The Light
That's a
In?
possibility.
Well,
There was actually
we'll call it Lights Out.
There we go. There was one story that I read of a guy that they asked a woman in Sarasota, God damn it, now you got me saying Sarasota, in Saratoga, directions to Bragg Road. And she was like, "What you guys going up there for?" And he said, "Oh, I've got a friend that lives on that road." And she gave him like a grin and was like, "Okay, have fun." When they got out there, there is nothing. There are no humans, there are no houses, there's no sign of life out there. So she immediately was like, "Bitch, I know you lying." So
Hmm.
but that would be a
He's looking for that
fascinating.
golden whore, that's what he's doing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But it would be cool to set up, like, a bed and breakfast there and then have a nightly, 8-mile ghost walk and just,
Mhm.
that would be a lot of fun.
I went back to thinking
So
of, like, having a tourist trap of golden whores, and you could have the Lights Out B&B on Bragg's Road, and then every, like, I don't know, I think Mothman was what? They were in September, I think? So let's when we open this B&B, Taylor, let's have it be, like, the 3rd week of January. I couldn't decide
okay.
what I wanted. Don't mess with the head bob. So the 3rd week of January, we're just gonna have a giant golden horror, I don't wanna say mosh pit, that sounds terrible. But
Mhm.
everyone will come out, you guys are gonna stay, we're gonna look at some lights, we're gonna dance and sing and drink a whole lot and have a bunch of golden hordes around.
Yeah. We can name all of our rooms after the different legends.
Yep,
Yep.
decapitated
You can
rail
pick
man.
sides for whatever for whatever legend you think is the best, you can choose that side. So
We could have, like, a
so
dartboard.
that's my yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Anyways,
that's my actually short foray into Bragg Road.
that was a very short one for
That
you.
was a short Taylor episode, yes.
Short Taylor episode, but it was good. I
Yes.
liked it.
Good, I'm
We're
glad.
gonna have to, like, go out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, "I wanna do something local."
Yeah. Local yokel.
We'll have to drag mom and dad out there too. I say
Mhm.
mom and dad, we're gonna drag dad out there because mom's gonna be like, "I don't wanna do that."
Now, if
So,
there was a cute little B&B on the road,
then she'd be like, "Okay, I can do that."
I stay in the hotel room.
Yep. I am nerve center. You guys leave.
Get out. You were on my nerve center. Get out.
So, if you happen to be in the Texas area and you've been out to in the Texas area, like, that's not a gigantic place.
If
If
you
you've
have
ever
been
been
anywhere in the massive state of Texas, please tell us.
Yes. No, if you've been in Southeast Texas and you've gone to Bragg's Road and you've had experiences, tell us because we would love to hear from you. You can always reach us at Instagram as the Ghost Sisters TX or hit us up on Gmail, theghostsisterstx@gmail.com, and the Ghost Sisters everywhere else that we have social media.
Or if you guys
And
have, like, your own haunted roads in your own towns
yeah.
or something, like, haunted roads are fascinating
Yes. Yes,
because
they are.
just, shit happens, man.
Spooky shit. So,
So, cool. Well, I think we will spook you guys later,
yes.
bitches.
Speak you later, bitches. Goodbye.
Bye.